Morning, Levi. Good morning, Carlos. Just getting ready to do morning sports here. Make sure you hit that like button, hit the follow button. Let's drop some gifts. Just get ready to do my morning sports report here in about 5 minutes. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Well, let's go make our way to the studio. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that follow button. As we head on up to the studio. I really think that's kind of a neat stat. I wonder if Brad Paisley ever thought he'd be a sports stat.
The implementation of mandatory country of origin labeling or MCOOL on all beef.
The only thing that I can see is, yes, you might go to the beef counter, you might be able to buy beef, but here is where the MCOOL would certainly come into effect. Because if we had product of the U.S. label, born, fed, raised, and slaughtered here in the United States, our consumers deserve to know that. Our consumers need to know if this cheap beef is coming from Argentina or Brazil or someplace else. We need to know that. So of the outcome, hoping that the MCOOL will become effective and law, I think that would be the only good outcome of this purchasing of some beef for lower prices at the counter.
Trump's proposal to purchase of beef from Argentina comes after the U.S. gave that country a $20 billion financial bailout. A deal Argentina's central bank said was signed on Monday. If the soybean harvest finally comes to a conclusion in our country, we got the update on Monday with the River Shirley Farmers Association Executive Director, Eric Weber. The year that was 2025, and very thankful year that it was, especially with the weather that we had. So we had a fairly normal harvest. Had a few blips in the heat, but for the most part, it was a pretty quick trip into the field and out of the field again this year. I think. Am I wrong?
We get in and roll, and it really doesn't take us long here. You know, it's certainly kind of a hurry up and wait situation right away.
So this is part of Inkstead Media too, then, right?
What?
This farm program?
No, it's
This is Ag Central. Markets can change.
it's Tor's cousin in North Dakota.
Yeah.
It's a different company.
Okay.
Related, yeah, he's an Inkstead.
Right. Yeah, I was gonna say owned by an Inkstead family member, but like in Fargo, that's a Inkstead group too, but just a. The kids have some. Jim has some.
To the Ag Central Radio Network. When you're an expert on soil and crops, you're a soil scientist. When you're an expert on the weather, you're a meteorologist. When you're an expert on soybeans, you are an Asgrow farmer. Like you, Asgrow brand is relentlessly focused on soybeans. Localized products featuring leading genetics and weed management systems. It all works together to give you
And like the one station back home, KCY has an LMA with Inkstead Media, I think out of Valley City for the rock station that we have.
their mind 24/7. You're all about the
Test 1 2. Test 1 2. KTRF 7:30 Wednesday morning. Fair sky, 30 degrees at the KTRF studio. We'll have an update on the weather along with our now hiring jobs report and birthdays and anniversaries coming up. Right now it's sports, scores and schedules. Good morning, Wade.
Good morning, Bob. Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday, middle of the week. A cool start to your Wednesday. Let's start with high school volleyball, where the Section 8A tournament continued yesterday in the University of Minnesota Crookston campus. We have the Ada Borp West taking on Red Lake Falls in the semifinal matchup yesterday. That game was on North Country 99.3. Travis had the call for us there.
The Northwest Cougars faced off in the Section 8A volleyball semifinals at the University of Minnesota Crookston. The first set saw both teams trading leads back and forth until the Cougars' Macy Thornton went on an 8-0 service run, and Ada Borp won the set 25-17. From there, it's pretty much all Cougars as Malaya Sievertson and Morgan Engel combined for 38 kills, winning set 2 25-10 and set 3 25-12. Ada Borp West improves to 21-8, and they will face the Sacred Heart Eagles on Friday at the University of Minnesota Crookston at 7 o'clock for the Section 8A championship. Red Lake Falls finishes their season at 24-7, and they were led by seniors Reese Paulin, Shandy Nelson, McKenna Holfer, Hannah Robeson, Kylie Clippies, and Kayla Schaefer. Again, Ada Borp West advances to the section championship, winning 3-0, 25-17, 25-10, 25-12. Reporting from the University of Minnesota Crookston for Beaver Falls Radio Sports, Travis.
Thank you, Travis. Yes, and Ada Borp West will go on to the championship game. Again, Sacred Heart winning over Fertile Beltrami in the first contest at the Section 8A tournament. They won 3-0, 25-17, 25-21, and 25-10. At the Section 8AA in Moorhead last night, it was Holly winning in straight sets over Frazee, and Wadena Deer Creek down in East Grand Forks 3-1 in high school volleyball action. So that sets up the rest of the week for Section 8A and Section 8AA. Again, Sacred Heart will take on Ada Borp West on Friday at 7 p.m. at the U of M Crookston campus. And 8AA will be Holly taking on Wadena Deer Creek. That'll be on Saturday, November 1st at 7 p.m. Scheduled activities today on Thafer Falls Radio. We got Minnesota Vikings X's and O's, 6:30 tonight here on KTRF. Also, Lakers and the Timberwolves tonight, NBA basketball, 8:15 here on KTRF. And also game number 5 tonight of the Toronto Blue Jays and the LA Dodgers in the World Series. And then Thursday, just to kind of recap, get you set up for that, here's what Thursday's action looks like tomorrow for high school football as the section championships will take place. We'll have the Section 8 9-man championship at the Fargo Dome. Kitson County Central 9-0. Stephen Argyle 9-1 on the year. 1:30 pregame tomorrow afternoon. 2 o'clock kickoff. Jameson will have that one for us on North Country 99.3. We'll take a break. The Section 6 9-man championship will go on at 4:30 tomorrow afternoon, featuring Fertile Beltrami and Foston. And then we'll rejoin with coverage for the Section 8A championship from the Fargo Dome. Red Lake County Central 9-1. Monoma and Waban 10-0. 6:30 pregame tomorrow night, 7 o'clock kickoff. Again, Jameson have the call for us there. That will be on 94.1 The Falls tomorrow night. So keep that in mind. Also, Week 9 will get underway as well. Baltimore Ravens taking on the Miami Dolphins on KTRF. Men's college hockey tomorrow night as well. Gophers at Wisconsin. And the Wild will host Pittsburgh. Well, the Fall Classic continues, and after an 18-inning marathon game the night before, the Blue Jays made sure that was not going to happen. With a 6-2 win over the Dodgers to tie the series at 2 games apiece, the Blue Jays shook off the devastating Game 3 loss with a strong offensive and pitching performance last night. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. hit a 2-run homer off Shohei Ohtani who was making his first pitching starting of the series to give Toronto the lead. The Dodgers struggled. The offense was quiet for most of the game, and their bullpen had a rough seventh inning. The series is now tied 2 games apiece as it heads into the pivotal Game 5 tonight at Dodger Stadium. Game 6 will now be played in Toronto. Of course, a Game 4 win from Toronto guarantees that the series will return to Toronto, and the Blue Jays did end up losing their designated hitter, George Springer, to a side injury in Game 3. So on to Game 5 tonight in LA, 7 p.m. Again, that series tied at 2 games apiece. Minnesota Vikings will start installing their Week 9 game plan during their first practice of the week today. The Vikings visit the Detroit Lions on Sunday afternoon. J.J. McCarthy is expected to start at quarterback for the first time since injuring his ankle in Week 2. Head coach Kevin O'Connell explains why Carson Wentz played through that shoulder injury. The Vikings are in last place in the NFC North at 3-4. The Lions come out of their bye week second in the NFC North at 5-2, just behind the 5-1-1 Packers. Sunday's game kicks off at noon right here on KTRF. Well, 2 people familiar with the decision says the WNBA has offered players a 30-day extension to continue negotiations for a new collective bargaining agreement. The current CBA is set to expire Friday. Tensions have been rising in recent weeks as the sides try to work towards a new deal. In 2019, when the last CBA deal had expired, the 2 sides agreed to a 60-day extension and eventually ratified the current CBA in January of 2020. And once again, the Wild battled from behind, but in the end, the Jets tied the game late and won in overtime 4-3 in St. Paul last night. Minnesota was down 2-0 after one period, but scored 3 straight on goals by Kirill Kaprizov, Brock Faber, and Marcus Johansson. Head coach John Hines was happy with his team despite the loss. The Wild are now 0-1-2 to open the 6-game homestand and have also lost 4 straight overall. They're at home against the Vancouver Canucks Thursday night at 7 p.m. While the Southeastern Conference is asking the NCAA to rescind its new rule allowing athletes and athletic department staff to bet on professional sports, ESPN reports that the SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey sent a letter to the NCAA President Charlie Baker on Saturday asking to restore prior safeguards. Sankey says the policy threatens the integrity of collegiate competition and risks student athletes. This follows the recently approved rule by the NCAA for Divisions 1, 2, and 3, which continues to restrict betting on college sports and sharing insider information. NCAA officials say the change reflects modern sports realities and does not compromise integrity. Well, the Minnesota Timberwolves look to get back to above 500 when they host the LA Lakers at Target Center tonight. The Wolves are coming off a 127-114 loss to the Denver Nuggets at home, and Anthony Edwards will miss the second straight game with a hamstring injury and possibly up to 2 weeks. And Minnesota center Rudy Gobert says the team has to work together to fill those shoes. Minnesota is off to a 2-2 start this season, while the Lakers star are without LeBron James, while Jackson Hayes and Marcus Smart are both listed as questionable for the contest. The Lakers also enter tonight's matchup at 2-2. Minnesota lost at LA last Friday night, 128-110. Game tips off tonight at 8:30 p.m. Well, the granddaughter of President Donald Trump will be making her LPGA debut next month at the Anika at Pelican Golf Course in Florida. Kai Trump is a senior at Benjamin School in Palm Beach County. She's the eldest daughter of Donald Trump Jr. and has committed to play for the University of Miami's golf team next year. Trump says she's thrilled to play on the LPGA event and says it's her dream to compete against the best players in women's golf. And finally, Bob, this is kind of neat. Games and dates have finally been announced for the upcoming World Juniors pre-tournament hockey series coming to Minnesota this year. The tournament will mark 50 years of the IIHF, International Hockey Federation, World Junior Championship with the top teams in the world. Duluth, Bemidji, Mankato, and Rochester have been chosen as sites for the pre-tournament games. Team USA will be in Duluth to meet Finland and Germany at the Amsoil Arena during the dates of December 19th through the 23rd. The championship tournament will move to the Grand Casino Arena at St. Paul and the 3M Mariucci Arena at the University of Minnesota campus and take place between December 26th and January 5th. Tickets are available for all those sites and dates. So that's and that's some great hockey. On a, I guess it's kind of like a step when people go from high school to kind of college, is it not?
Well, yeah. It's, some of those guys will go right to the NHL.
Yeah.
Or pro hockey in Europe. Others will secure a nice gig at a college for a couple years or two.
Right.
So, yeah.
So it should be some good hockey there.
Yeah.
And very close, too. I mean, you think about from here.
It's been right after the local Ralph Engelstad Arena was built. Grand Forks hosted the event, and we had preliminary games. We had games over here. Guys, some pretty big names were here and unknown at the time.
Right.
And, and skated. So it's a nice opportunity to see stars before they're stars.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. The winter games are only like 3 months away.
I did see that, yeah.
Interesting. I saw that the Iron Range curling team put in a solid performance at the curling championships held in the Twin Cities last weekend. A team out of Evelyn and a team out of Virginia are still in the hunt for U.S. curling spots.
That is such a unique sport.
Yeah, well, very much so.
Have you ever curled?
I have one time. I find it as a spectator a lot like golf.
Sure. Yep.
Somehow I get locked in and
Right.
end up watching a long time. So yeah, and there's quite a and again the U.S. and Canada are among the best in the world when it comes to the sport.
Oh yeah.
So that's preparation for that continues also.
And I think that's one of those sports. If you don't, if you think you don't have to be in shape, you have to be in shape. I think for that thing, because those guys are working hard sweeping. Man.
Oh yeah, it's a rock.
Right.
It's not not a little stone.
Right.
That slides.
Right.
It's a rock.
Yep. No. Right. Exactly.
It takes a little. It's heavier than a 16-pound bowling ball.
Right.
But, yeah.
It's just so neat how like either like a little spin or whatever when they release the rock or sweeping, not sweeping, how they can get that thing like right there. It is pretty cool.
Curling stones are they're something else. They have to weigh between 38 and 44 pounds.
So there's a set weight. Okay.
So on average, average about 42 is typically what a rock weighs.
That's heavy.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. And I'm sorry, we'll be talking curling. I'm sure the curling club here is going to be ramping up pretty quick. Most of the curling clubs will.
And wasn't there the last Olympics? Wasn't there a team from either Minnesota or North Dakota? I'd have to look, but
the Bemidji area.
They went pretty deep.
Yeah. We've had some clubs, some local teams that have done pretty well at national and international events. So
yeah.
And it wasn't. It was last year. I think it was it Jared Allen, the former Minnesota Viking, who tried to qualify. He didn't qualify for the Olympics as a curler, but they were pretty good. They were in the playoffs. So.
Why do I feel like Jared Allen on a curling team would be
Well,
pretty comical?
I don't. They're good athletes.
At point. No, right.
Yeah,
You know.
kind of. Well, you have this vision. Same thing in bowling. You have this vision of somebody just
Right.
throwing the ball through the end of the lane. Same thing with the curling. You know, is one of those big.
I mean-
guys just letting it fly.
I'm just thinking he'd come out in his cowboy hat,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, oh yeah.
beard.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. Curling game of finesse, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, Wade, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Catch up next hour. Again, Wade Allen with sports this morning here on KTRF. And